morning, sunshine. How you guys doing today?
Hey, sunshine.
All right. Dale, Harold, are you here? Invocation.
May we pray? Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to gather with our fellow Rotarians. We thank you for the opportunity to participate in Rotary and pray your blessings on the good work of Rotary. We thank you for the food that has been prepared today. Please bless it so the nourishment of our bodies and our bodies to the service. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The things we think, say, and do.
Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
All right. Sergeant at Arms.
Yes, sir. We have 2 guests today. Gail has a guest. Gail,
Gail Stansel. What you got?
Are we introducing her
again? You're going to tell me what it's all about today.
Yes, hopefully it's going to talk about membership today with Mark, and hopefully I've got us a wonderful member. You're here.
I have a guest. This is my little brother, Dan, Dr. Dan Hampton. He's a radiologist at Emory in Atlanta, and he's up visiting our parents in Guilford County.
Stand up, Dan. You have to stand up.
Thank you. We never would have known you guys were related. I have some orders of business. I have a letter from Karen Hornbeck that did our talk about GEA, and this is just a little announcement. Thanks for having us. You have the greatest Rotary Club in the world. Can't imagine anyone would be better. No. Anyway, GEA is gearing up for our annual community-wide breakfast, and I wanted to reach out to see if Gate City Rotary might consider being a table sponsor for the event. Table sponsorships are usually $1,000, but because Gate City is a nonprofit organization, we could offer you the nonprofit rate of $750. Comes with a table of 10. Text acknowledgement of your sponsorship, all our marketing and event materials. Love to see your members at this event. GCS has developed a bold $2 billion master facilities plan. There are big decisions ahead for our community in 2020, and what we decide today could really shape Guilford County for generations. We'd love to take City Rotary as part of the conversations and decisions around moving our schools forward. Guy wanted me to read this, and he has a flyer. Does anybody else have a connection with this?
Who was the letter from? I'm sorry.
Karen Hornbeck.
What organization? What is that?
That's the Greensboro Education Alliance. They spoke here a couple weeks ago. So at any rate, if you're interested, contact Guy. He has the information on table sponsorship. If you'd like to get a table or be part of a table, get some people together and do one, that would be wonderful. Let's see. Kim, yes ma'am.
Before I forget, the email that went out about the bell ringing for the Salvation Army, they wanted some interviewers.
Yep.
People to interview.
Yep.
I reached out, willing to do that, the girls and I, and he said if we could get a group of at least 6, then he would do us as a group.
Okay. Okay, fantastic. I looked at a couple of those. I watched a couple of the videos online. They are very interesting and heartwarming. So that'd be great. So you're looking for a couple more people?
I am.
Maybe?
Yeah, absolutely. So if anybody's interested in doing that, I don't think he had a date yet,
Nope.
but I'm happy to.
Okay, so
Let
contact
me know.
Gail
Yeah.
if you're
Fine.
want to get together for that. Fantastic. Kim Day, would you stand up please for a moment?
I'm ready.
Yep, a week ago, we had the most important thing on the Rotary calendar of the year, the cardboard tournament. Kim stepped up at the last minute to be basically an assistant tournament director, ran the brackets. This is a double elimination tournament with a bunch of drunk people. She kept it going. It was amazing. He was everywhere all at once, getting things done.
And I can tell you, I learned so much, but it was not easy. So when someone at the last minute says, run a corn, I did not drink, but I would highly advise that you have at least one. I only made one mistake, but we fixed it before it got out of control. But you know, this person goes to L9, and this person goes to L2, and this person goes to L14, and needless to say. I will do it again, but it was a lot of work. You made it almost to the semis. You made it to the semis?
Yeah, we ended up with third, which I was very excited about because there were a couple of pros there.
Oh, yeah. The two teams that made it to the finals, those gentlemen play an average of 3 nights a week.
Yeah, they destroyed us. We lost 21 to 30.
Let's see. We have a district conference. The district conference. Yes. Would you like to speak to that?
Yes, I just want to encourage everyone to register to go to the district conference. That would be in Myrtle Beach, beautiful Myrtle Beach, Friday, April 14th to Sunday, April 26th.
24th.
24th.
Yeah.
24th.
I do not have programming for the 14th.
And we want to go to support Chris, and also Mike Conrad reminded me today that they are offering some great hotel rates. It's $159, and you can get a bungalow with 2 bedrooms for that rate. So if you bring your family, guys, I encourage you to do that. I don't think we can get better than that. And it's at the Hilton Hotel. Also, I want to thank everyone for their generous contribution to the district conference door prizes. We collected, as of today, $226, which we will buy some beautiful basket with as door prizes to represent the city and support Chris. Thank you very much.
Good. And also, we're not limited to one door prize. So if anybody has business swag or something from their company, like to donate, get some company recognition, I guarantee you Chris would be happy to use it, right?
Yep.
Chris, while you got your mouth full, I think we've got time to play a little quick round of the feud. You're up.
The feud, yeah, let's do it. Oh, man.
Haven't done it for a while.
It's a game literally nobody has asked for. Conrad, you requested this, right?
I wish you'd attend to your DG too.
The Hassel family. The Hassel family. All right, Hassel family, get ready. You're going to have to choose whether you're going to play or pass. I thought I saw Farley walk in. Where is he? Oh, yeah. You know, Danny, I mean, you're always YouTube gold. So we're going to the Farley family. All right, Farley family, get ready. So, Hassel family, you going to play or pass?
We're gonna play.
You're going to play? All right, we got top 6 answers on the board. Top 6 answers on the board. We got the Super Bowl coming up. So Super Bowl question. Name a food or drink you'd buy if you were having a Super Bowl party. Food or drink you would buy if you're having a Super Bowl party. Top 6 answers on the board. Shit. All right, chips. Ding, 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 ding. Number 2 answer. Got 5 answers left. No strikes. What you got?
Beer.
See, I was trying to get Robbie to say beer, and he just went beer. That's how I started. I wanted the judge to say booze, but no, he didn't say. All right, we got W's. Ding, 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 ding. That's your number 1 answer. Number 1 answer. All right, Conrad. What you got here? What do you want to buy?
For
Mike's gonna be like, some brie. All right, Mike, what we got?
I know it's not gonna be on there, but I'm gonna say chili.
Let's go on with chili. All right, you got 2 strikes, 4 answers left on the board.
I'm gonna say you're gonna do dip, like queso dip or dip.
I'm gonna put some
Sit on the chip.
dip with the chips. All right, that's a good thought. Fortunately, that thought is wrong. All right, so we got 1 strike left, 4 answers left on the board. What you got?
Chicken wings.
All right, chicken wings. Sounds good. All right, do we have some wings? Ding, 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 ding. That's your number 6 answer. We got 3 answers left on the board. What you got? 3, 2.
Go ahead.
All right, she went to a bougie Super Bowl party and asked for some ribs. All right, we got a chance to see over here. Farley family, get together. What you got? 3 answers left on the board. All right, what's the pizza? Ding, 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 ding. All right, Farley family wins. That was your number 4 answer. Yeah, I don't know what 100 people they ask. Your number 3 was popcorn. I don't know if I've ever seen popcorn. And then the other one was soft drinks. All right.
Okay. Rick, you want to do some birthdays and anniversaries?
Yes, sir. We have a couple today, Dr. Walt, and club anniversaries. Although we don't have the princess here, her dad showed up. Matthew, I've seen you. Where are you, buddy? There you are. And club anniversary coming up Saturday. No, tomorrow.
What?
How many?
Oh, I'd say 3 or 4. 3?
Yeah, we'll pick one.
4?
That's right. And Dennis. There we go, and you've got an anniversary coming up also on Saturday, club anniversary, and it'll be.
Let's say 14.
Yes, sir, you're right. All right. Congratulations, guys. Glad we're here. You're in the club with us. And remember birthdays? I don't think Ken Chinka made it, did he? All right. And, well, back to Mr. Marcotte one more time. You also have a birthday coming up, and I believe that one is tomorrow? No.
Yesterday.
Yesterday. All right, so we almost got to see happy birthday. Happy birthday, Dennis. And we've got one anniversary, wedding anniversary coming up, and one good Dr. Langdon. You have a wedding anniversary? Don't forget, in this win. Yes, sir. All right, you're in good shape. All right, and that takes care of us.
How many?
What's the anniversary? 17.
Congratulations, Judge. Great. The club and the board for the last couple of years has been working toward forming a satellite club or an ancillary membership, or what we've come up with is a kind of a combination of a new membership category that we're going to be hopefully instituting relatively soon. Dan, Chris, Guy, and I have met several times, and we've talked a lot about this, and we've had a lot of input from other members, but basically there's going to be an ability for kind of a Rotary Light. We're trying to transition people from the 505s, people that show up at our fundraisers and help out. They want to be a part of Rotary, but don't really want to make a huge financial commitment right off the bat. This is people that we can hopefully incubate and become Gate City Rotary members. It's not a way that we're trying to get rid of anybody in the club or move you to a different category or anything. Of course, we want our traditional club to stay intact just like it is, and we hope to keep adding members to this club. But we kind of need a farm team, if you will, of people to kind of steer them toward Rotary and get them involved in the process early on. So at any rate, expect an email from Dan shortly. We've been working on the wording and the rules and guidelines and everything for this, but at any rate, hopefully we'll be hearing something concrete and definite about that soon. Okay? Thank you, Dan and Chris, also for all the work you've done on this. Chris is doing bylaws, and Dan will be saying.
John asked if it was allowed.
Unique to this, or
We're just on the edge.
or Rotary International said you can do it.
Yeah, we're good.
Let's do some happy dollars.
Let's do some happy dollars. All right.
Okay, I'm sure some of you are familiar with the Big Hairball. My first shout out about that goes to Kelly Harrell, because they did such a great job out there. And I mean, I felt like I was, I don't know, in Miami or New York or something. I mean, everyone we came in contact with was so professional and authentically kind. It was really, really incredible. And then of course to Rosa, because she did it. And for her, I mean, she's kind of an introvert, so for her to get up there, if some of you saw the clip, and own that stage like she did, I'm proud. So that's what I wanted to share that. And of course, Victoria turned 16 yesterday. I don't know what else to say about that. I couldn't be more proud of her and her smart choices so far. So, anyway.
Girls are getting older, they are.
So those of you who see me on social media know that we made a decision this week, there's 4 of them there.
4 of them.
To step away from the comfort of Allen Tate Real Estate. And so my wife and I, along with 2 other people, formed a new company called Blue Denim Real Estate. We're going to try to serve the triad a little, keep it a little close to home, and do what we do and do it well. But I do have some thank yous, and the $4 represent some of our members. David Lillard has been instrumental in getting us set up with a website. Judy Brumley did the signage. Jeff Tillman's doing my advertising, and Ralph Jones is keeping me insured. We haven't done office space yet, but when we do,
Celebration luncheons.
Well, as Mark talks about joining the private merry-go-round, it's entirely appropriate for me to talk about my afternoon yesterday after having made up with our friends at the Greensboro Club. As you know, for many years they have been at the forefront of pushing the carousel that's going up out of Greensboro Science Center. Our club has been tangentially involved in that as well. They had a preview for their members that they kindly invited Eloise and me to join. It is phenomenal, folks. If you haven't seen it yet, go out there. They're in the certification phase, but it's going to be open in the next 2 months or so, and it is just terrific. And it'll be a real addition.
Yeah, a couple things. Joe's house is right. I was out there walking around Piper the other day at the park, and I got a little sneak peek through the window. It is really cool, so I'd check that out. I got a little sneak peek myself. Let me know if I'm going down to the AAA team. So, I guess y'all have a manager.
Who says AAA?
As if my wife is not already busy enough keeping me in line and raising our daughter while I try to mumble through being a dad. She has decided that she's going to open up her own therapy office. She's reducing her hours of work and starting to head in that direction. So I think I put something on Facebook about it, but all prayers and good thoughts on that end for private business owners out there. So
I got about 60 people that I know. Everybody just sign up.
All right, so I want to know which Rotary member was near Foxwood, Connecticut and went to a Rotary meeting recently. Did any of you go? Nobody in this club. Well, it's really funny because my management team called me and said, hey, one of your Rotarians was at our meeting and all they could say about you was you missed last week. So that Rotarian that isn't here when I find you, they're supposed to say about me. That I wasn't here last week isn't what I was looking for.
They must not be here this week.
Thank gosh.
Yeah, another thing coming up next week I'm looking forward to. I'm going out to Arkansas for a 3-day goose hunt. Hopefully we'll report good results.
You don't need to go to Arkansas for them. I'll pay you.
Any nice granddad.
Grass fed.
I'm not sure if y'all remember, but back in early December, there was a lady named Holly Fareed with Big Brothers Big Sisters who came here and presented, and her speak resonated with me really quickly. We've got our oldest sons at Lindley Elementary, and they were talking about site-based mentorship program. I followed up with her that day, and we met with her, and I met with some of the folks at Big Brothers Big Sisters. We met with the school administration, and are starting, we've kind of written the memorandum of understanding and started a mentorship program at Lindley. The administration there has identified 40 kids that they believe really need some mentorship and can benefit from it. So we're really just following my heart with it and going as hard as we can. I've committed to helping them find the resources. They do have to hire some folks to help facilitate another program. So we are trying to put together a little bit of money and looking for any help we can get. I think we're really close. And I'm actually really excited about it. We're meeting Friday with the administration of the school and Big Brothers Big Sisters folks to see how quickly we can get it rolled out. But thank y'all for giving me the opportunity to do that. That was really the reason I wanted to get involved in Rotary, was to find some way to do something good for the community. So
How much do you have to raise?
so they're telling me if we can get $10,000, we can get started, and then obviously they've got to hire a resource. So I'm committed to helping them kind of figure out how to keep it for as long as we want the program in place.
Good job.
Well, Grandpappy always used to tell me, less is more, unless you're talking about kindness, sleep, and toilet paper.
Good morning, everybody. I want to introduce our speaker today, Eddie Stevens. Eddie and I kind of go way far back. He was the manager at the swimming pool at Farstokes when I was this little but still this round. And it was kind of funny, we used to joke, Eddie's going to own this club one day, and I'll be damned if he doesn't now. So it's kind of great. He's going to speak to us about the importance of real estate and amenities and attracting a tenant for the Megasite, which is, I think, is a big deal. So Eddie Stevens.
Good morning. So full disclosure, I was raised here. I've got 3 kids. I've got a junior at Appalachian, Jack. I've got a senior at Page, Charlie, who just got into state. And my daughter Lily is a sophomore at Page and is as smart as the older 2 boys think that they are. One disclosure. Lost the bowl. Oops. This time? Yeah. It's thinking about it. I'll start running my mouth to be a good steward of your time. I would thank you. I noticed not a lot of ties in the room, so I lost mine. Those of you that are wearing a tie, I completely respect you. I did about a dozen years for Merrill Lynch and decided, unless it was a special occasion, I would never wear one again. So not that you guys aren't special, but I took it off to make sure we... So my day job, I am a financial planner. The reason that screen is on the board is this has nothing to do with financial planning. In fact, this has to do with owning a golf course, which I would not recommend as an investment. So this is the don't try this at home part of the show. Okay, Megasite. Who's familiar with the Megasite and what it is? So, turns out there are several planned Megasite facilities across North Carolina. The most close to home is a collaboration between Guilford and Randolph counties, and it's got a bunch of participants: Randolph County, Guilford County, City of Greensboro, the Greensboro Chamber, North Carolina Railroad Association. It is truly a collaboration, and excuse me. So truly a collaboration. It's got attractiveness for lots of reasons. Its location. So here, we're sitting just north here, nice O'Henry Hotel. So just across the county lines between North Carolina and Randolph County, I mean between Guilford and Randolph County, really close to the megatropolis of Liberty. It's less than 15, it's like 15 miles total between most of the residential base of southeast Greensboro and the planned Megasite. Been a lot of conjecture about possible tenants that have come in or the possibility of getting a tenant. Has anybody heard any stories lately of Toyota? There was one that's not dead as far as I know. This is bits from the chamber. The chamber has people across the country trying to rally to the cause. Honda to consolidate and work with the different facilities at the airport. That's still out there. Most recently, a Chinese company that's similar to Amazon to build a distribution center there. So there's lots of possibilities. One of the things that makes it attractive. So strategically located, and this is coming right off their website. Strategically located in the heart of North Carolina, easy access to 5 ocean ports, and that's everything from Norfolk to the north to Savannah and Charleston to the south. 3 international airports, 7 interstates, and first-rate rail and intermodal facilities. So it's possible, but what makes it the most attractive is some of the textile workforce that was displaced or has been displaced over the past decade. So there's a lot, when you rank them nationally, of the number of sites that can house a large development, this actually falls to the top of the list. So a good enterprise for the city of Greensboro and Guilford County and Randolph County. What makes it hard, though, is one of the things that's lacking is when you look at the amenities between what would be the Megasite and the largest natural city, which is Greensboro, real estate does play an important role. You'd want places where your employees could work, live, thrive, survive. And that's where my hometown is. I grew up out in southeast Forest Oaks. Worked there from 87 to 97. And here's the story that I want to tell you about that. So what's changing out there? So Forest Oaks was it was a developed community, actually built from the neighbors of the Linwood Lakes community in the 1950s and 60s, wanted a golf course. Linwood Lakes at that time was out in the boondocks. It was the county. And so a bunch of guys got together, and really farmers got together and built the course. It was an Ellis Maples golf course, opened in 1962. And the first year did great, but then struggled. It's my understanding they had a winter kill, which is an issue we're concerned about this year, where the greens all died, and then they actually went close to bankrupting. And then a local businessman and his son, one of the founders of Westover Church, John Hughes, and his son, John Hughes Jr., came in and bought up most of the land to build the swim and tennis facility here so that they could get more for the lots around the course. And it thrived. It thrived really strongly. And in 1977, they moved the golf tournament to what was then the GGO from Sedgefield to Forest Oaks in 77. That's when the neighborhood really proliferated. And most of the lots around the course and exterior facilities really took off and filled up. What got interesting is as you get into the 80s, so that the tournament was there from 77, from 77. The only one Wyndham was played there in 2007, and then it's moved back to Sedgefield. Let me take a step back. One of the things that makes it an interesting story is what was happening in the Japanese economy in 1989. If there's anybody with Japanese heritage in the room, part of this story I'm going to embellish a Japanese accent. I mean nothing derogatory by it, except it will enhance the kind of the story in dealing with a Japanese corporation. So in 1989, at the height of the Japanese economy, the great thing for them to do was to buy American real estate. They wanted a trophy. All the money from tape decks and VCRs that we'd sent to Japan, they thought that a great thing to do would be to buy American real estate. In 1989, they approached the owner, John Hughes, and offered him $6 million, and he said no. $7 million, and he said no. And $9 million, he said yes. And in 1989, a Japanese corporation called the Nishin Corporation bought Forest Oaks Country Club. And it stayed that way all the way through. And in 2007, when they negotiated and lost the tournament in 2008, that was really the reason that they owned it. That was their trophy of American real estate. So they became disinterested in 2008, and the facility started to really go downhill. They decided to not put another dollar into the facility, and it started to show. Over the course of the next few years, they tried to find a buyer. The first buyer was supposed to be Troon Golf Course Management, which came in 2008 to run the course. The deal with them was going to be that they would run the course for a year, and after a year, they would make them an offer based on the actual metrics that they saw, and the Japanese could find an exit. After a year, the Troon Golf Course Manager said, "You're dying, we're out." And over the next 10 years, you heard all, if you all know how many are familiar with the neighborhood, stories of different operators came in. They weren't owners, they were renters. In 2014, one of the renters, there was a combination with a prolific club at Far Stokes. It was not Ricky Kroll, it was some people that were using his name and some distant family members, so I don't want to speak badly there. But they bankrupted so bad that Guilford County had to assign a receiver, and they actually chained the doors shut. The Japanese had to make some phone calls to Guilford County. "Oh, that's a renter. Take the chains off of our doors." And so, at that point, I got really interested. Having worked there from 87 to 97, I actually, the day that they made the Japanese representative, his name was Tadashi Hattori, they made him the Vice President of American Operations. I served him lunch that day in the clubhouse when they had him a lunch and made him the Vice President. So in 2014, when they chained the door shut, I made a phone call. Having watched it my entire life and made a plan, had been planning, I made a phone call to my now business partner, Terry Lee, and said, "Terry, we need to make some phone calls." And he said, "What do you want to do?" And I said, "We need to find out where they want to start and see what kind of, and I've got a plan. Let's see what they want to do." We made one phone call, and hey, Tadashi, and I said, I'm going to embellish, this is a little bit of an embellishment, and I don't mean any disrespect by it. "Hey, Tadashi, this is Eddie, haven't seen you in a long time. I'm sorry that they changed your doors shut. What do you want to do? I've got a group of people together, we'd like to make an offer." "Oh, Eddie, we take $3 million. Tadashi, that's not even in close of range of what we can do." Honestly, he has really good English. He's actually, for the Masters tournament, he's the commentator for the Japanese golf, the golf channel. Anyway, "Tadashi, what do you want to do?" "Oh, it's $3 million. "Tadashi, that's not even close. Are you sure? Is there any negotiation room there at all? Can we do anything?" No, Eddie, no." I said, "Okay, well, I wish you the best of luck. I hope you find a buyer." And I forgot about it and moved on. I was heartbroken, still planning. And then last winter, about a year ago at this time, I found out there was a deal in place. A developer out of Charlotte was going to take hole number 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in the driving range. He was going to make a bid for Guilford County to make it a high-density home site. There's about 250 homes. And the deal was for $1.7 million. And I got really excited. I got excited because the developer out of Charlotte didn't know what a lot of us that live in South or deal with Southeast know is you're not getting 220 home sites for water and sewer in Far Stokes right now because of the Megasite. They are saving that capacity so that they can find a good commercial tenant for the Megasite. Then the Osborne treatment plant couldn't handle it. Then they can build a new treatment plant. Then they can build fire infrastructure. Then they can do all the things necessary. So down the road, sure, but for now, you're not going to get out of Guilford County. And as it sits, if you break it up into RS-40, there's just not enough dirt to make the infrastructure build-out happen. And so I got excited because I knew it wouldn't happen. And it never even got to zoning, because if you got to zoning, you'd had to tell all those people on 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 that they're not going to live on the golf course anymore, which would have been a heck of a fight. There are more than 400 home sites on the golf course itself. And their plan was to kill the other houses. They were going to make a driving range on what is currently number 10, change a couple of holes around and make a 9-hole executive course. So what I got excited about was if they would take 1.7 when they thought the real estate value was higher, then their numbers got to be south of 1.7, which makes the metrics of getting the property and turning it around and putting what is necessary into it possible. And so the negotiation, and I'll speed along for the sake of the story, is so last year, about literally this week last year, called Tadashi. "Tadashi, I'm so sorry. I just heard today your deal fell through. I've got the group that's back together. I'd like to make you an offer of $1.25 million. We'll put an account, close in 10 days, be done. You can finally be done with this place. The building is rotten. It's a 25,000 square foot building. It's rotten. What do you want to do? Oh, Eddie, too little money. Too little money. We know, dude. We got a guy in Arizona he's going to buy. Tadashi, nobody else is this crazy. The membership is down. It's not going to happen. You need to take this offer. It's no, Eddie, no. February, I called him again. God, you should do it. No. March. Okay, Eddie, we do. Now, that's when due diligence actually started. We put a term sheet together. We knew the building was rotten. We weren't trying to haggle, but we found several things with Guilford County. We found a couple of things with the spillway. One thing that the tenants had done over the years, over the last 10 years, as different operators have come in, they kept the greens great. They kept the tee boxes great. If they had any money left, they kept the fairways okay. Where it had been in a huge decline was where the property met any homeowner that lived on the course. If there was anything close, a tree down, a ditch that had gotten out of control from rainfall, anything that made the amenity decline, that was in question there, that's what was run down. So fast forward the story. So in March, we said, hey, we found about $100,000 worth of stuff. We'd really like you to clean up your mess before you leave. Now, the way we presented it was not great. And it wasn't really the money point. It was you've left this place in disrepair. You're in bad terms with Guilford County. You need to fix that before you go. And Eddie, no, we already say 1.25, too little. That's it, 1.25. And so he faltered. And I called him in April, called him in May, called him in June, called him in July. And in July, I said, look, we've lost the summer. We're going to be carrying the place all through the winter. The revenue cycle is much better out there, April to October, than it is October to February. I guess we're going to have to part ways. This is it. He goes, Eddie, we not do 1.2, too little. In August, he called us back and said, okay, you do. You put money and we do. And we're like, oh, crap. So we called Brooks Pierce. Brooks Pierce, what do we need to do for essentially a title search on 167 acres and 7 lakes in southeast Guilford County, and we need it on Friday. So we struck a fairly large check to Brooks Pierce, got it done, sent a FedEx to Japan, all the corporate documents they needed. On August 21st, which is my birthday, he signed it. So we took over in August. And so here's the culmination of the story. So 25,000 square foot building under renovation, we've done, we're about halfway through. So fitness center, redone bar upstairs. Here's an interesting one, pickleball courts. There were 2 rotten hard courts that we looked at the demographic. Here's a good part of the story. People had such a good time out there in the 70s and 80s, they never wanted to leave the party. About 1/3 of the homeowners that live around the course are the same homeowners today. So we thought, what is something you can do to re-engage the demographic of 60 to 75 years old to get them to re-engage and come back and participate in the club? Yeah, you can do a fitness room, you can have walking groups, yoga classes, occupational therapy. But how do you get the people that still live on the course to come out there? The demographics are good. There's more kids that graduate Southeast this year than when I graduated in 1988. So re-engaging those things are easy. Re-engaging the people on the course is hard. I bet you if you drove out to Forest Oaks right now, 8 o'clock on a random Thursday morning in January, some idiot is out there playing pickleball right now. I don't know how it happened, but pickleball is a real thing, and if you're a club that's not doing it, it's gonna be there. We couldn't believe it. So adding pickleball as an amenity is good. The golf course is in great shape. So here's the culmination of the story. Is if you have anything to do with real estate, or if you have anything to do with growing up, raising a family, Southeast Greensboro right now is on the mend. The schools have been redone, grocery stores out there, restaurants out there, and over the course of the next 6 months, a fully restored 25,000 square foot country club is there. And part of this is an ask. Part of this is we need you. So even if it makes no sense to join, it's a semi-private place. It's a Saturday morning, it's April, and you build up enough brownie points with your wife or your husband, put the clubs in the car and come on out there and check us out. Oh, and to help do that, one thing that we're doing, the downstairs was rotten. So we're putting in one of the things to help make the food and beverage more stable. Everybody wants, there's restaurant things out there aren't great. There's not many solutions or not many choices. So everybody's screaming for food and beverage scares me to death. The reason is, I can quantify a pool. How many lifeguards do I need? How much for the chemicals? How much for pool furniture? How much for what? Tennis? Same thing. How much for clay and lines? How much for the tennis pro? How much for power and water? Food and beverage is scary. So to help justify food and beverage, putting in what was in the old cart room downstairs will be a full swing golf simulator. So if you've ever heard of Top Golf or played Top Golf, if it's a dreary March or a dreary winter day, and you want to play Pinehurst number 2, you'll be able to do it from the basement of Forest. So, so that story is completely true, except for the bad accent on some stuff for Tadashi. Any questions? Anybody have questions about Southeast? Anyway, anything I can do to help engage you and care about Southeast? Go ahead.
You know, I don't have a question, but I'm an alumni of Southeast.
Me too.
And so I am so excited to hear this story that you're revamping this area, because I can only see the potential here. I lived in the heyday when it was part of the GGO and it was thriving, so it's very exciting to hear this story. And I can only imagine that the grocery store where the old Winn-Dixie used to be, that's going to...
That's my question.
Yeah, that's going to revitalize, and with the Megasite, I mean, that's going to become a potential.
So that's actually, so Bill Agapian passed away, and then in the fallout from some of his properties, it's now a CODIS property. Marty, in their basket of stuff that he bought, I think the number was 500 for the old Winn-Dixie Shopping Center. I think he's just sitting to see if the Megasite happens. I don't know how many acres of dirt it is out there. It's enough that he can just sit and wait and see what happens. And they're not dumb. They'll do something smart or appropriate. I would love to see a small hotel or a fresh market or
well, kudos
something.
to you. I mean, it's so exciting that you're doing this.
Other questions? I'll hang around if anyone wants to talk.
What they really need there is a Chick-fil-A, right, Brian?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Or a Rotary rate.
A
Rotary club rate.
Okay.
Draw a ticket for a Clean Hearts Raffle. Read the last 4 numbers on the ticket.
The last 4 numbers on the ticket. 6459. Quality check.
6459. Everybody got it?
What is it?
6459. You got it? Nope, draw another one. Back in.
6432. Somebody, 6432.